Hey there, how's it going today, everyone? I really had no plans to talk about this subject, but considering the fact that it's actually been making an impact on my channel and specifically on the viewership and potential remonetization of my channel, I feel as though it's pretty necessary to talk about since I'm not the only one that's being impacted by this. In case you haven't been aware from another content creator, essentially what YouTube is doing is forcefully enabling restricted mode onto accounts, effectively hiding content from other channels so that they're unable to view that content while that mode is on. And while YouTube or Google themselves is claiming that this mode is not impacting channels and viewership, I can 100% say without a doubt that it is in fact impacting content viewership. If you were to turn on restricted mode and look at my channel, you would see that I haven't uploaded a new video in the last 7 months. Not only have I not uploaded a new video in the last 7 months, but apparently most of my content is not up there. You would see very specific videos that I did from like 12 years ago, for instance, but you wouldn't see videos in the last couple of years. Maybe certain videos that haven't been flagged as being restricted content, whatever that means in this context, but if it hasn't been flagged as restricted content, you'll see it on the channel in restricted mode, which is to say about 10% of all the content that I've ever done. Now, if you were to turn off restricted mode, then you're obviously able to see everything that I've uploaded as far as new videos are concerned. You would even see that I have uploaded something as recently as 6 days ago, which is not that long ago for anybody that is interested in my content, whether you're subscribed or not, which a lot of you who watch my videos aren't subscribed to the channel. About like 80% of you that watch the channel aren't subscribed, which I find that quite interesting, but I don't want to get too ahead of myself here regarding that subject. So this is pretty frustrating for me because as a niche content creator who talks about very specific subjects and subjects regarding gaming specifically, it's frustrating because it's like I'm forced to make certain content the way that YouTube likes it, not the way that I would like to make the content, even if that's in compliance with the guidelines that they already have available, with things like enabling restrictions on children being able to watch your content, which they implemented some time ago. It feels as though it's like it's not enough for them. So it's not a very good situation. And really the only thing that I can hope for is that I ask you to turn it off, whether you're a subscriber or not. You turn it off, not just for my sake, but for the sake of any other channel that you might be interested in watching that you might not be seeing content for, which is a pretty big deal, I would think, especially if you're trying to watch some of your favorite content creators and you just cannot see their content. This is also a pretty big deal if you happen to follow niche channels like myself, because if those channels are trying to grow and if they're trying to gain a consistent viewership hours and also subscriber count, well, that is going to get impacted the most. So what you're going to see is that the content that is being uploaded by niche channels especially, although major channels that have much larger subscriber counts are also getting impacted by this in terms of viewership, they're not getting the viewership that they would have been getting a few months ago before these restrictions were put into place. And this is a huge problem, especially for smaller content creators like myself, because I have been trying to get remonetized for the last 10 years. Because 10 years ago, YouTube decided to change their policy and make it more difficult to get monetized. Before, the only requirement that you had was to just reach 1,000 subscribers. 1,000, that's all you needed to do, and then you could get monetized. The problem is that somewhere down the line they thought, well, that's not enough. You need to not only reach that 1,000 subscriber count, you need to have at least 4,000 watch time hours. I was going to say views. There's a big difference. You need to have 4,000 watch time hours. Okay, that's great if you consistently upload content and have the time to consistently upload content. I, unfortunately, just don't have the time because I have real life priorities like going to work. In fact, for some time, I've been working 2 jobs and haven't really been focusing on content as much as I would like to, because I need to focus on making money for rent and other things that I have to pay for, like my daily commute. But it's beside the point. I don't really want to get into that whole rabbit hole and my personal life regarding what I have to take care of. The point being is that if you're a content creator like me, where you only have so much time in your day to be making content and consistently be making content, well, then this really just screws you over the most, because you're not going to have the time to reach that amount of viewership hours unless if you're just pumping out bangers left and right and everybody just happens to love your content, which how often is that going to be the case for smaller channels like my own? I can guarantee you it's not going to be often. Very few channels are able to reach that success at the very beginning. If you're able to, hey, more power to you. That's great. I'm glad that you're able to find that success. But I'm just talking about, on average, most small content creators are not reaching that level. They're just not. Even I cannot reach that level consistently. I have some videos that come out and they do very well, but that is the very, very rare exception when that happens. Usually my content doesn't do well for the first couple of weeks, and then the viewership picks up over several weeks, if not months, if not a full-on year, before that content actually reaches at minimum 1,000 views. At minimum, right? So, and I'm going to assume that's going to also be the case for other smaller channels like my own. That being said, like I said, it is an issue for me because I've been trying to get remonetized because of the policy changes. And this is actually effectively cut down the watch time hours that I've had. Originally, I had about 2,100 views, or watch time hours, I should say. I am down to about 1,900 as of today. Weirdly enough, though, despite the watch time hours going down, I am getting more subscribers. I do find that strange because even recent videos have not been doing as well as they should be. That might change, though, of course. Maybe over time I might start seeing the numbers that I'm used to seeing with some of the content that I've been doing, especially like with the recent Onimusha videos. Time will tell, I guess, because as of current, it just seems like every video that I put out is going to get impacted. And the most that I could hope for is that like I said, I tell you all, turn it off. And not necessarily for my sake, but for the sake of your own viewing experience, because whether you like to watch my content or you like to watch somebody else's content, you might be missing out on content that you subscribe to or content that you really enjoy watching from creators that you enjoy watching. Anyway, I don't mean to ramble on too much, so I thought I'd get that thrown out there. If you have restricted mode on, or if you don't know that you have it on, make sure to click on your little user icon on the top right corner. You'll see the drop down setting for settings. You'll see restricted mode somewhere in that little box, and if it says that it's on, just click that off and it'll do wonders as far as being able to view content. If you don't have it off, or I'm sorry, if you don't have it on, then make sure you tell other people that might have it on, because they might not know. So be sure to let them know that, hey, if you think that you're missing out on content from channels that you enjoy watching, check to see if your restricted mode is on and just turn it off. Anyway, like I said, I don't mean to ramble on too much, so that's all I really have to say for today's video. I will probably see you all in the foreseeable future, because I am working on some more Onimusha content for you all. That being all said, when I see you all, I will see you all next time. So feel free to give this video a like, consider subscribing if you haven't already, and until then, I will see you all in the next one. Matane.